guys, we have a big breaking news coming out. President Donald Trump says Ukraine should hold elections despite wartime prohibition. Now, he said people should have that choice. The people should make that decision. And I agree. I agree 100%. The people should make that decision when it comes to election night. The problem here, ladies and gentlemen, Zelensky is extending martial law. So whenever he does that, it keeps him in power. And the reason why he's doing that, because supposedly it's a huge catastrophic war going on in his country. Now, I wouldn't call it catastrophic. Catastrophic is like Gaza and stuff like that. But his land is seeing war, but not as bad as the Mideast situation. But what are your thoughts? Should the people in Ukraine decide? And again, like I said, I agree. But this is coming out at the same time. You have this news. Zelensky says Ukraine won't cede territory to Russia. That's the reason why Donald is saying, you know what? At this point, we're not going to work this peace deal. You guys are just going to continue with this war. You might as well have an election and let the people decide. All right, guys, before I start, for those of you that want to send us letters or prayer requests, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife, Jessica Santiago, at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida, 34691. And for those of you that want to contribute to the channel, we do have the Cash App link and the PayPal link in the comments box and also the description box. Once again, thank you so much for your support. Guys, I'm feeling a little better, but yesterday, it felt like it was pneumonia. I mean, it was really bad. I had a rest yesterday. I mean, it was just brutal. I didn't went to my jobs. I do have two other jobs, but you know, I couldn't. It was really bad. But thank you so much for the prayers. Today I'm feeling a little better. All right. So again, I really appreciate the Cash App, the coffee Cash App. That coffee kind of helped out. So thank you so much for that. So President Donald said in an interview Monday that Ukraine should hold new election despite its ongoing war with Russia, warning that Kiev will soon reach a point where it's not a democracy anymore. That's true. That is absolutely true. That is absolutely true. It doesn't even seem like it's a democracy, anymore. I mean, because you got Zelensky and martial law. Zelensky and martial law. Martial law. Martial law. Come on. Is that the way democracy, works? I think it's time. I think it's an important time to hold an election. The president told political reporter Dasha Burns. They're using war not to hold an election, but I would think the Ukrainian people would and should have that choice. I agree with Donald. 100% Donald is absolutely right on this one here. He's absolutely right. I mean, the people should get to decide if they want to keep Zelensky or not. And I guarantee, if there's an election, they're going to go for someone else and say, sorry, Zelensky, we're not going to be tolerating this trending of war going on. Under Ukraine's constitution, election cannot be held during period of martial law. Well, they found that loophole. All right, so it says here, which Zelensky imposed in response to the bear invasion in February 2022. Excuse me. Under normal circumstances, the terms of Zelensky and Ukraine's parliament would have ended in May and August of 2024, respectively. So we're going almost 2 years now. Zelensky supposed to be out 2 years ago. He's not supposed to be in that spotlight. Someone else supposed to be in that spotlight. And I guarantee if it was that someone else, this war would have ended. It would have ended. Oh, it would have ended. They would have found some kind of solution to coming together and ending the biblical war. But as long as Zelensky remains in power, This trending will never end. I truly apologize about some of these advertisements, guys. I'm trying my very best here to keep this channel clean. So again, I truly apologize. It says maybe Zelensky would win, Donald said of the prospect of a wartime election. I don't know who would win, but they haven't had an election in a long time. You know, they talk about a democracy, but it gets to a point where it's not a democracy anymore. The president also responded to a weekend claim by first son Donald that the commander-in-chief may be willing to walk away from Ukraine, saying it's not correct, but it's not exactly wrong. Walk away. I would have walked away. My first day, I would have walked away and say, this is not my problem. I'm out of here. So I would have let NATO do their job. You guys take care of it. You guys say y'all willing to move heaven and earth for Ukraine. I'm not. I'm not willing to do that. I would have walked away a long time ago. Donald's there sleeping. He's like, man, I'm so tired of this dude next to me. Referring to him. We have to, you know, they have to play ball. The president went on. If they don't read agreements, potential agreements, you know, it's not easy with Russia because Russia has the upper hand, the upper hand. And they always did. They're much bigger. They're much stronger in that sense. I give the people of Ukraine and the military of Ukraine tremendous credit for the, you know, bravery and for the fighting and all of that, Donald said. But, you know, at some point, sides will win generally. So Donald is saying, Zelensky, you're not going to win. You're not going to win. And you're not going to be dragging my land into this nonsense war. Because we're not going to go to WWE and go against the bear. It ain't going to happen. And it's true. If you want those territory back, that's basically almost World War III there. And I don't think Donald's going to sacrifice our sleeping giant country for Ukraine. The president's comment came as his administration makes another effort to end Europe's deadliest conflict since the Second World War, with Donald telling supporters Sunday that Zelensky had yet to read the latest peace framework hashed out by U.S. and Ukrainian negotiators. It would be nice if he would read it, the president told Politico Monday. You know, a lot of people are passing. So it would be really good if he read it. His people loved the proposal. They really like it. His lieutenants, his top people, they like it. But they said he hasn't read it. I think he should find time to read it. Now, he's gonna have to get on the ball and start accepting things. The U.S. president said elsewhere in the interview, you know, you're losing because he's losing. He is. He's losing. He's expecting us to be his savior. You guys could do it. You have nuclear. You just drop sanctions on nukes. No, we're not going to do this for you, man. Again, start with the martial law, have an election, and let the people decide. You just caused a massive headache. And all your officials are driving luxury cars, Lamborghinis and Bugattis and Ferraris and all that. I mean, you guys are just taking advantage. What are your thoughts here, guys? What are your thoughts? At the same time, Zelensky says Ukraine won't cede territory to Russia. In other words, forget about the peace deal. Forget about the peace deal. It ain't gonna happen. So give me a second here, guys. So I want to bring this news up. The US president calls European leaders weak, declares European countries are decaying, and states there was an understanding not to admit Ukraine into NATO long before Putin, describing Putin as a great salesman, one of the best. When asked about Putin's view of the Trump administration national security strategy, Donald stated that Putin would prefer a weak Europe, adding, to be honest with you, he's getting that. Here's the thing, guys, is that, yeah, they're making really, really bad decisions in Europe. Why is it that we always got to get involved in people's war and stick our nose in their business? We always got to stick our nose in other people's business. Here's the thing, guys. When it comes to Ukraine, again, give me a second here. So most of the people in Ukraine, they speak widely. Give me a second here. Most of them out there speak the Russian language. So Ukraine, again, Ukraine and Russia, they're like brothers and sisters or cousins, right? So again, when it comes to those two countries, they had a good bonding back then. I think during the time of the Soviet. But again, there's so many things that's been going on between these two countries, and believe it or not, way before Joe and Donald under Barack, things were kind of strange things were happening inside Ukraine, and when Barack was in power, so there was a lot of lawlessness happening in there. Putin decided to go in, but again, that's when they took Crimea in 2014. There was some strange stuff going on there. You had Joe's son with the laptop, and they were dealing stuff in Ukraine. There was a lot of lawlessness. Things were not adding up, but I believe that we shouldn't stick our nose in their business. We shouldn't stick our nose in their business. It's like Russia shouldn't stick their nose in U.S. Venezuela business. But guess what? Russia's going to be like, wait a minute, you stuck your nose in our business. Let me just stick our nose in your business. So, again, we are definitely seeing nation against nation building up. And I do believe that what Donald's saying is absolutely accurate, that there should be some kind of election. Let the people decide. Let the people decide. Because it's not working. NATO, Ukraine, Russia, U.S. peace deal is again, it's not there. It's not working. So let the people decide, and that's how it's supposed to be. The people is the one that gets to decide. That's why this elections. The people is the one that get the last say. So what are your thoughts? Is Donald right about the holding election in Ukraine? What are your thoughts? Leave comments down below. One thing I tell you guys, this thing will never change. This trending stuff is just gonna continue and going on and on and on. Martial law will be extended, and it's just never gonna end. But I do agree with Donald. I think it's time that Zelensky stop extending martial law and let the election happen. Thank you so much for watching, guys. For those of you that want to send us letters or prayer requests, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife, Jessica Santiago, at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida, 34691. Once again, guys, $5 a month Patreon. We get you access to our live stream. We go live once a week. We talk about things that we cannot talk about on this platform. Also, I posted videos today. Those links will be in the comments box. Thank you so much for watching, guys. God bless you all. Till next time later. Peace.